Kentucky, and we are live at 9. A couple minutes late, but here we are. Let me go ahead and check and make sure that everything's coming through on the channels real quick. I was talking with my... There we go. I was talking with my daughter earlier, and we were talking about things like Kickstarter fulfillment, and we were talking about doing live streams, particularly for a while. Let me make sure I'm in here. Let's see here. Yeah, looks like we are on X. So, good deal. Let's get those glaring glasses off here. I'll put them on as I need them to read chat, and we'll be all squared away. Anyway, I was talking with my daughter about, well, a lot of things. We talked about the live stream thing particularly. And one of the things we were discussing was that Restream, which is the platform I'm using right now, as you can see from the little mark in the corner, they will permit two free, which is what we're using right now, to stream on X and YouTube. But the paid options go to 3 channels and to 5 channels, right? And so 5 channels would let me do Facebook and Rumble and Kick all at the same time. And so I think I'm going to do some math on that and try and figure out if it's something I want to do. Because the truth of the matter is, I'm kind of getting to the point where I like going live. I enjoy the interactions that I have with some people. And I've liked being live on other people's shows. And I'm kind of enjoying this. Even though sometimes we talk about absolutely nothing. There's just kind of, I don't know, something cathartic about getting the thoughts out of your head and vocalizing your thoughts and sharing information with people. One of the things that I got a message about, someone suggested, was to take this little survey quiz thing. And so I watched another content creator take this. It was Asmongold is the guy's name. And or his handle, I think his actual name is Zach. Yeah, if that sounds right. Actually, he lost his father shortly after I lost mine last year. My dad was suffering from cancer. His dad was suffering from cancer. So, I've watched a few of his. I've not watched any of his live streams. I've watched a few of his YouTube videos that I thought might be interesting. Video game stuff mostly. So that's pretty cool. And then every once in a while he'll do something that's kind of neat about just something cool that happened. Like the other day, he did one about the Blue Origin spacecraft exploding. I saw that on YouTube, and that was kind of neat. Feel bad for the Blue Origin guys, though. I'm glad, so far as I know, no one was hurt, which is the real important thing, right? People are always more important than property. I say that, but sometimes people get killed over property. Wow, that got dark fast. But the wait, did I not share this? Hold on a second. Let me make sure the chat's working. Okay, yeah, chat's working. All right, cool. Good deal. So my daughter and I went over a few things to talk about tonight that I thought would be kind of fun. And one of the things that she had brought up is that we should talk again about like crowdfunding fulfillment kind of stuff. And we've done that on previous streams, but I mean, it doesn't hurt to touch on it, because again, where my Twitter /X algorithm stuff is showing me a lot of stuff right now with people complaining about not getting um, crowdfunded comics in. And it seems to mostly be in the comic space. I don't really see anything on my feed, or I don't think I've seen anything on my feed since it went wacky, about people not getting their RPG crowdfunding books. I don't know what the discrepancy between that is, but it's just what I'm seeing. But from the Kickstarter comic end, I think that there's been a few campaigns that I've seen where people have said that they are fulfilling the books, but then they've been fulfilling it for months and months and months and months. And I mean, in 2 days by myself on weekend, and not even pushing myself terribly hard, I can and have fulfilled 200, 225, somewhere around there, backers in a weekend. It's really not that hard of a pace. Certainly it will eat up your weekend, but you can get it done and get it out there. So I mean, if someone has 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, whatever backers, I could see it taking time, certainly, but I could also make an argument for, I mean, you could spend a few hours every night, knock out 20 or 30 a night through the week, and then knock out another 200 on the weekends. 20 a night during the week is 100, and all of a sudden you got 300 knocked out in a week. And so if you've got 1,000 people, I mean, 1,000 packages to fulfill can be done in a month and still maintain your full-time day job, you know? So I don't pretend to know what's going on with those creators' operations. I'm not really that nosy. It just seems odd to me that we seem to see more. Well, what I'm seeing anyway from the current algorithm stuff that's going on is a bunch of people complaining about Kickstarter books and Indiegogo books and so on. I don't think I've seen anyone complaining about books they've pledged to on Fund My Comic. I don't know if that's because Luke and them are particular about enforcing stuff on there, and they are particular about enforcing stuff on there. So hats off to Luke Stone and all of them. Um, Actually, I need to reach out to Luke. So I don't know if we've got anyone watching the stream yet or not. Let's take a look here. Yes, we do have one viewer. Outstanding. So, hi and welcome to the stream. Like I said, sometimes we get 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes we get 40 or more. It's good to have. Yeah, of course, I forgot to turn my phone off. Let me turn these off so that it's not beeping. And well, that was well timed, wasn't it? Carlos, I'm streaming, bro. Put it in the chat, please. Put it in the chat. But completely lost where I was. Oh, Luke Stone and Fund My Comic. One of the things that I've got going on is like I'm trying to finish up the Kickstarter campaign for Reign of Ages 4 this weekend, and I'll tell you guys the truth. I worked on it a little bit yesterday, and then I slept a lot yesterday because I was still feeling really, really bad yesterday. And I streamed for a little bit yesterday, and I was all flushed up and pink and looked like I was, falling over. I looked terrible. But I streamed for a little bit yesterday, and then I slept a whole lot more, and I slept long and hard this morning. And I woke up, and my fever had finally broken, just in time for the end of the weekend. Yay, team. The cool thing though is I want to finish up the Kickstarter campaign for Reign of Ages, and then we've got this art coming in from Damian Torres, right? And it's safe for work. Tibby from Tibby and her Time Traveling Psychedelic Mushrooms celebrating the 4th of July. And I really want to get that out to a lot of people before the end of June. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to set up a Fund My Comic campaign for the art print celebrating the 4th of July. I mean, it is 250-year anniversary of the country, since the Declaration of Independence and all that. So I think I'll do that. And that will mean that I'll probably have 2 campaigns running at the same time on 2 different platforms, which is weird. I've never done that before. I don't think I've done that before anyway. I think we were going to do that at one time with Kickstarter and Indiegogo for different cover options, but I seem to remember there was a problem doing that, but I don't know. But getting that out there and getting that done, I think, will be a big, big deal. So I'm going to reach out to Luke Stone and make sure there's no problems with that. And then, yeah, I think we'll look at that. Now, we've got a couple more viewers. Welcome here, guys. Appreciate y'all. Let me get into what I was looking at here. So I had I've had a weird couple of engagements. And one of the things that came up was a thing about this. I was just responding, and I was on the Sonopa account. I should have known better. But I was responding on a video about this gun store in England. And they have high-end firearms, like, $100,000 weapons, $200,000 weapons, that kind of thing. Just really expensive pieces, right? And they made the comment that they were one of the largest collections of firearms for sale anywhere. And I was looking at that, and my cousin literally has more rifles and shotguns at his house, his personal collection, than these people have in their entire huge store. And a couple of people commented like, hey, I mean, this place doesn't have as many firearms as the Walmart down the street, or certainly not the Bass Pro Shop used to have, right? It was just weird all the way around. But I made the comment that my cousin's place had some, and some dude came in and said something like, well, that's why you guys have school shootings and stuff like that, And there were a whole host of comments about him. I didn't want to get into that. I didn't want to give him engagement because it's an asinine thing to say. I keep firearms in the house. I keep them safely, I make no secret about that. And people will ask, they're like, well, what happens when someone breaks into your house? I mean, they get shot. It's not really that big of a mystery, folks. If you come to Kentucky and you break into someone's house, you're going to run into a cordless hole puncher, I don't know why people find this so odd. I mean, there are certainly other places in the United States where it would be just as bad an idea. I mean, you certainly don't into someone's house. I used to live up there. Trust me, you don't want to do that. Or, most of Texas, you definitely don't want to do that. Most of Tennessee, you definitely don't want to do that. It's just a really bad idea. People protect their families, and if you look at a map of where the guns are in the United States, they're all over the place. Yeah, don't do that crap. But the guns I have never shot up a school. All gun owners don't run around committing crimes with their weapons. Some people are not responsible gun owners, and they do, commit crimes. But it was just weird to me to get called on Twitter /X, whatever you want to call it these days, by some dude who's like, well, I'm glad we don't have guns. And I was looking at some of the stuff that was going on in because I think the guy's in England, the United Kingdom, from what I saw. Because in X you can see where the account's based out of, and he was out of the United Kingdom, and I'm thinking, aren't you guys having like all kinds of wild problems in the street? I remember that news article, I think it was last year, about the little girl defending her sister with a hatchet. I mean, that's some potent imagery right there. I hope those kids are okay. That's one thing that's just really really terrifying when you're a parent, is the thought of people going around and harming kids. That's just terrible. And maybe I'm just getting old and paranoid or something about the whole prevalence of people putting your kids at risk. But I just don't want to take that chance. That was a terrible segue. I should get the hell off of that because that's going to sound really political, and it's not meant to be. But it's just a weird social media engagement, you know. But then again, I'm also old. I am. I'm an old dude. I'll be 56 this year. Can't believe I lived this long. I'm grateful I lived this long. It certainly beats the alternative. And to think now at some of the wonder that the world has, things that when I was a kid were just entirely science fiction, right? Whether it's telepresence, video calls, communications, um, this whole thing with relaunchable rocketry, humanoid robots, and guys, I gotta tell you, I mean, Tesla's building their robot factory right now down next to Giga Texas, is my understanding, and they're gonna build a metric ton of robots. That should rephrase that. They're going to build a metric fuck ton of robots every year once they get that production ramped up, and those robots are going to be doing something. There's an argument that I see people going back and forth on with this too, about whether um, robots will be really replacing human labor or augmenting human labor. And I think that in some places, they will definitely replace human labor. I think that we're going to see them to large effect in certain manufacturing processes, replacing human labor. I think in a lot of warehouse work, we'll see them replacing human labor. We might see them in shipping. Um, and then certainly I think we'll see them in military applications. I know the Department well, I almost said Department of Defense, Department of War. Um, there's been a few publications out there talking about how the next evolution in warfare via drones and combat robots and such is going to require new training methods and replacing some outdated training methods. There was a little bit in a Shadowrun book years and years ago. I mean, I like all the way back in like the late 90s, I think is when this came out. It was I think in the Fields of Fire book for the third edition, if I'm not mistaken. And there was a comment in there from one of the NPCs, and he said that no matter, something along the lines was, no matter how automated war became, how many robots blew each other apart on the battlefield, war would still exist. It would exist where humans bled, suffered, and died fighting for their lives and what they believed in, or something along those lines. And that was really, really potent, because I think that realistically, no matter how much we delegate the tasks of warfare to robots. I think ultimately it's always going to come down to people killing people or people having their robots kill people. It's terrifying. I remember when the Terminator movie first came out, and the thought of a robot soldier just mercilessly pursuing, tirelessly pursuing, relentlessly killing, and being effectively unstoppable was a horrifying concept, and still is. But now the robots that we see are a far cry from that. But then you still got those autonomous little wheeled robot machine guns and robot dogs with flamethrowers mounted on them, which is really more for show than anything, but you get the idea. Hell, you could use some of those for perimeter security to help augment stuff, and it would be a huge, huge help, no doubt. But the human cost is the real cost of war. At least that's what I believe. Damn, we got to get out of the deep stuff, guys. Sorry about that. I don't know what the deal is with that. I guess it was that whole thing with the social media thing spiraled me a little bit. I took and set these up because I was going to do some photos for the Kickstarter campaign. That's Reign of Ages 1. Oh, I'm about to knock this off. Reign of Ages 2. Reign of Ages 3. Gorgeous cover by Ayesha Gulsanev. Actually, all of these covers I'm showing are Ayesha Gulsanev. Gorgeous work. And then this is 4. And then the B cover 4 by Walter Giovanni with color by Nick Capone. I need to hear from Nick once he gets back. He had family business he had to take care of over the weekend. So hopefully he'll get and be able to cover over what the all right. Sorry, it was my brother Carlos. With my phone buzzing away, buzz, 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 buzz. We'll get the final revisions done and get the final print file together. That should be done probably during this coming week. And then I'm hoping that, assuming that we can get the Kickstarter campaign approved by Wednesday, that we can probably launch by Friday, or if not by Friday, then maybe the Monday following. And then we will run the campaign either 10 or 14 days. I'll look at the calendar and we'll see what that looks like. But we're going to try and raise at least $1,500. We are not going to put any stretch goals in there. We're going to keep things nice and simple so that we can expedite fulfillment and just get everything done, printed, and out to you guys quick as a whip. I like the idea. I am going to talk to some folks about doing some promotion. We may actually sponsor an ad roll on a particular influencer channel, content creators, however you want to call them. I would call them more content creators than I would anything else. They're good people. Message my brother so he can understand that I'm actually on a stream. Sorry about that, guys. But there's a great deal of satisfaction to having your comic or your RPG book or your novel finished and in production and available for people to read. It's just something I truly, truly enjoy. I tell you what, this whole stream's been kind of dark. So I'm not going to beat this one up too much. We will probably cut this one a little short tonight. If you have any comments, any questions, any criticisms or concerns, definitely go ahead and post them in the chat. And I'm going to go grab something real quick. See if you guys can see that. All right. I don't know if it's going to let you. But this is an AI generated image I was fooling around with to see if I could get a cosplay. I guess it's not going to let me show it. I'll have to work on that a little bit. I guess I'm not doing something right. A cosplay I wanted to thumbnail out, and since I can't draw well enough to really see what it would look like, I went ahead and just used the AI to generate it. Well, folks, like I said, we're gonna cut it a little short tonight. We will be live at 9 Sunday, and we may even have the campaign. That'll be fun. But as always, guys, wherever you are, please take good care of yourself. Stay hydrated, get plenty of rest. And remember, in a world where you can choose to be anything, please do choose to be kind. Again, I'm Sam Quinton with Sonoma Publishing right here in Frankfort, Kentucky. Have a wonderful evening, everybody.